Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be sharing with you all the books that I need to finish by the end of this year. So I feel like overall it has been a really good reading year overall, and so I want to kind of continue with the momentum and these are the books that I think I would like to finish by the end of the year. Like, it's no pressure or anything, but these are the ones that are definitely piquing my interest that I hopefully would like to get to by the end of this year. And I feel like they're kind of all over in terms of genre, either ones that have been on my shelf for a while, or they're relatively newer releases that I am really excited about. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So starting out, I first have A Man Called Ova by Fredrik Backman, and I'm a huge Fredrik Backman fan, and I've loved Beartown and Us Against You. I think, yeah, Us Against You. But I haven't read this novel, which is the one I feel like he is most known for, like besides Beartown, which is surprising. And I've heard really tremendous things about this one. I've heard it's a tearjerker, so I think I've just been holding off reading this because I know like I will cry reading it, and I'm just need to emotionally prepare myself to do so. So I think that's why I've been a little bit hesitant to pick this one up. But again, I've heard tremendous things about this and I just need to mentally prepare myself. But it's about this kind of old grumpy old man that is kind of ends up forming an unlikely relationship with a new couple that moves kind of in the neighborhood, and it kind of goes off from there. And I don't really want to know too much about it, I just kind of want to dive right in. But as a big Fredrik Backman fan, it is a little bit frustrating that I haven't read this one, so I think I need to definitely finish this one by the end of the year. So this is also one that has been on my shelf for a while and I just never really got around to reading it, but I definitely feel like it is one that is really kind of relevant with the current, state of the world right now, and it is The Orphan Collector by Ellen Marie Wisemen. And so basically the premise of this is that it's a dual storyline. So it follows, like, in the fall of 1918, 13-year-old German immigrant Pia longs to be far from Philadelphia's overcrowded streets and slums, and from the anti-German sentiment that has compelled her father to enlist in the U.S. Army, hoping to prove his loyalty. But an even more urgent threat has arrived. Spanish influenza is spreading through the city. Soon, dead and dying are everywhere. With no food at home, Pia must venture out in search of supplies, leaving her infant twin brothers alone. And it says, since her baby died days ago, Bernice has been lost in grief and bitterness, and so she kind of ends up stealing these twins, and so this has kind of destroyed Pia, and it kind of goes off from there. But I think it is a really interesting premise, especially because it deals with the kind of Spanish flu pandemic, which is very reminiscent of what we're kind of going through now. I think it'll be interesting reading this time period through kind of our modern day eyes and just kind of going through there. And I did read a few of Ellen Marie Wiseman's books, the first one being What She Left Behind, which I really enjoyed, and then I forget the name of the other one, but I didn't like that one as much. But nevertheless, I'm still really excited to see how I feel about this one, especially because of its kind of connection to modern day kind of pandemics, and which is interesting because this was written like years before the COVID-19 pandemic, so I think that's a little bit interesting. This is also a book that has been on my shelf for a while that I definitely want to get to, and it is Kindred by Wragg Sykes, and it is talking about Neanderthals. So for those of you who don't know, I have a few degrees, but during my undergrad I double majored in biomedical engineering and anthropology, so I am a bit of an anthro nerd, and this is totally up my alley for all things anthropology, especially like human evolution. Was like my favorite part, so I was really excited when I saw this book. And so it basically talks about Neanderthals and kind of goes into detail of what we kind of know about them, and how they kind of got the motto of being kind of, like these bumbling idiots, like compared to our like human equivalent. And so I think it's interesting, it goes further into that, just how complex and they were, and how they were basically on par with that, like our human ancestors at that time. But it says it's a beautifully written exploration of our fast developed understanding of Neanderthals and their culture, a compelling insight into how modern science is revealing the secrets of an extinct species who, for 350,000 years before Homo sapiens became dominant, inhabited the world as wide and as rich as the Roman Empire. So I think that is just totally interesting, and maybe that's just the anthro nerd in me, like, you know, geeking out, but this one honestly just sounds really, really exciting, and I feel like I'm gonna learn a lot with this. And finally, these last two are ones that are kind of more recent purchases that I think I'm really excited about, and I definitely want to tackle them within the next 2 months of the year. So the first one is a historical fiction, and it is The Book of Lost Names by Kristin Harmel. And so this one I think is going to be really interesting. So it says Eva is a semi-retired librarian in Florida, is at a return desk one morning when her eyes lock on a photograph in a newspaper nearby. She freezes. It's an image of a book she hasn't seen in 65 years, a book she recognizes as the Book of Lost Names. The accompanying article describes the looting of libraries across Europe by the Nazis during World War II, an experience Eva remembers all too well. As a graduate student in 1942, Eva was forced to flee Paris after the arrest of her father, a Polish Jew. Finding refuge in a small mountain town in the free zone, she begins forging identity papers for Jewish children, fleeing to neutral Switzerland. But erasing people comes with a price, and along with a mysterious, handsome forager named Remy, Eva decides she must find a way to preserve the real names of the children who are too young to remember who they are. The records they keep in the Book of Lost Names will become even more vital when the resistance cell they work with is betrayed and Remy disappears. So I think this one sounds super interesting, and I think, again, this is something completely different from what I tend to have kind of read about during World War II. I've never really kind of read anything from the resistance side. I have, but nothing kind of in this way of kind of helping people escape out of the city, like into neutral areas, and like especially the children. I think it's just such a compelling and interesting read. So I'm really excited for this one. Like, this is like basically what I look for in a historical fiction. So I have really high expectations, but hopefully it meets them. And lastly, this is a book that I stumbled upon at the bookstore before realizing it's kind of very popular on BookTok. I'm not on TikTok, so I did not know, but I had a friend read this and he said he really liked it, so I'm really excited. So I think this one will be really good as well, because I do trust his opinion on things. And it is The Atlas 6 by Olive Blake. And so basically it's the Alexandrian Society, caretakers of lost knowledge from the greatest civilizations of antiquity, are the foremost secret society of magical academics in the world. Those who earn a place among the Alexandrians will secure a life of wealth, power, and prestige beyond their wildest dreams. In each decade, only the 6 most uniquely talented magicians are selected to be considered for initiation, and then when the candidates are recruited by the mysterious Atlas Blakely, they are told they will have 1 year to qualify for initiation, during which time they will be permitted primarily access to the society's archives and judged based on their contributions to various subjects and possibility, time, space, luck and thought, life and death. 5, they were told, will be initiated, 1 will be eliminated. So I think this one sounds really interesting, and I feel like it is totally up my alley. And especially I think this is really interesting too, because this author, like at least with this edition, was self-published, and I've seen now ads for kind of a hardback edition, so I'm assuming it's gotten picked up by the publisher, which is really good. So like again, based on the popularity of this, I feel like this one will be really good as well, and I'm told it ends on a cliffhanger, so I'm excited to see, you know, kind of experience this whole thing. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what some of the books you need to read by the end of the year are, and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.